on the front lines. More than 500,000 people have died in the past year from a disease that didn't even exist when you started PA school. And you've witnessed it all from the view of a healthcare provider. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the other central theme of this year. Social injustice and violence against minorities are directly tied to the health inequities healthcare providers must address. It may seem like a daunting task. How can we, as healthcare providers, help? Just dig deep and ask yourself before each shift, what can I do to make a difference today? You are entering a career in which you will have the opportunity to help and inspire individuals who have been faced with barriers and injustice. Take that opportunity as an honor. Dedicate yourselves to your patients, and the rest will come naturally. You have the medical knowledge, patient care skills, procedural competence, and compassion to manage any challenge. Now, on a lighter note, the Springfield College PA program would not be the success it is today without the support of our administrators. Thanks to Dr. Mary Beth Cooper, President of Springfield College, Dr. Martha Potvin, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Brooke Hallowell, Dean of Health Sciences, and Dr. Patrick Love, Vice President of Student Affairs. I want to give a special thanks to Dr. Marianne Coughlin, Vice President for Academic Affairs. She and I have been on weekly committee meetings for the past year, trying to navigate our educational requirements with pandemic regulations. Dr. Coughlin, you have been a continued supporter of our PA students. You have listened and strategized with me whenever I called or emailed, which was like 100 times this week. Thank you so much. Not only is our administration great, but I have an amazing and dedicated group of faculty and staff who worked tirelessly to help you all get to the finish line. Please let me introduce the faculty and staff, if you would hold your applause until I've introduced them all. Dr. Corinne Sieve, Assistant Professor Roxanne Sprague, Assistant Professor Christine Needbala, Assistant Professor Andrew Baginski, and our sign language interpreter for the day, Assistant Professor Melinda Connors, Dr. Rebecca Rosenstein, our medical director, and to our administrative staff, Lucy Soloyo, administrative coordinator, and Scott Kirkland, Sim Lab coordinator. I would also like to acknowledge several of our adjunct faculty who are here. PAs Melissa Miles, Kelly Gilday, Sarah McGowan, Jennifer Alex, Seth Collins, and Dr. Carol Cohen. You may clap now. This is Dr. Sieve's last certificate ceremony. She has decided, after 21 years of teaching, to retire. And really, who could blame her after this past year? We both started here at Springfield College together in 2009 as full-time faculty, and we've seen some changes over the years. She has been a mentor to me in teaching and in life. Need a good book recommendation? She's got one. She keeps us updated on the world news and has some really great stories. She will be greatly missed, not only by us, but by her students. I would like to welcome Dr. Sieve to the microphone to say a few words.
So good afternoon, class of 2021. This is a great day. I was asked to say a few words at your graduation, and I was a little puzzled by the invitation because after a year and a half of listening to my lectures, I thought this class had heard quite enough from me to last a lifetime. Now, it was a little over a year ago when I finished my last lecture, and I said to you, that's it. You never have to listen to a speech from me again. And you may deny it, but there were looks of total and absolute joy and relief on your faces. But in seriousness, I am thrilled to be here today speaking to you on a very special day. Graduation ceremonies are important. They mark the end of a stage of life and the beginning of a new one. It's a time to celebrate your accomplishments and look forward to the future. Our PA certificate ceremony has been one of my favorite days. It's the one that's always on a Friday, and it's just for our PA graduates, the staff and faculty, the administration, and your family and friends. It's a great day for me to look at you as the accomplished graduates you are about to become, and remember how far you've come in just a few short years. I remember the early days in anatomy when you tentatively and apprehensively approached your cadaver donors, ready to start learning. But many of you, I think, were filled with self-doubt and anxiety. There were a few scalpel mishaps, but luckily they were minor. You were told you had to find and dissect structures with long Latin names that you could not pronounce, and you certainly couldn't spell them. But you worked hard. You found those structures, and you learned what they did and why they were important. Now, I am sad to say many of you never mastered that spelling part of that. And if I can give you a bit of advice, modern technology has provided us with spell checkers. They are your friends. Use them all the time. Now, during that first year and a half, you were not just learning anatomy and physiology. You learned how to take a history, how to do a physical exam, how to suture a wound, how to put on a cast. You were learning pharmacology and clinical medicine. You learned about common diseases like diabetes and hypertension, and uncommon ones like porphyria and Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. That last one was also a spelling problem for you, but I'm not going to mention spelling again. You could identify an epidural hematoma on imaging, and you finally learned the difference between granulation tissue and a granuloma. Or did you? Wouldn't this be a good time to have like a wrap-up quiz, just old time's sake? No, I guess not. You've had to take more quizzes and practicals and exams than anybody would ever want to endure. But looking back on this past year, no discussion would be complete without talking about the appearance of the virus that made the world stand still. This virus has caused immense suffering, as Dr. Mijon has just referred. There are some of you in the audience who may have personally been affected by this. This is a human toll of this ongoing pandemic is everyone's concern. Now, the virus had a major effect on your education. Close to the end of your first year, all in-person classes abruptly came to an end and were taught online. You were severely restricted in your movements and your access to your friends and family, and clinical rotations that were to start in just a few weeks were in question. Thanks to a superhuman effort of the faculty and staff, schedules were readjusted, rotations were reshuffled, and you are able to sit here today ready to graduate from the program on time. Now, because I'm a teacher, I always look for a teachable moment, and this certainly had many teachable moments. You had your next year planned. You knew where you were going to be for each 6-week rotation. And all of a sudden, that was up for grabs. You showed resilience when there were unforeseen obstacles. That will serve you very well in a medical career, because in medicine, schedules are always interrupted, often on a daily basis. Now, this graduation is a special one for you because for the first time since you entered kindergarten, you will no longer be students. You are about to start your careers in medicine. So what can you expect? After 2.5 years as graduate students, you most likely realize it's immensely rewarding, but it is not an easy profession. It is dynamic, it's constantly changing, and it requires continual study, updating and learning of new skills. You have probably found that some of the information you just learned in the past few years is obsolete. There are new methods of imaging, new medications, and new lab tests. Now, there is a bit of good news in this. Anatomy has not changed in 50,000 years, and you're not going to have to go back to an anatomy lab to learn new things. As you've probably begun to realize over the past year that you spent in hospitals and clinics and offices, meeting real people and their real problems, there is a human dimension to medicine that is just as important as the science and just as challenging to navigate. This cannot be taught in lectures or learned from textbooks. When seeing patients, you must understand their fears that the diagnosis you're about to give them will change their lives forever. When you realize that, it will help you understand why some might delay seeking treatment, while some might not follow your instructions or go to the follow-up appointment. Helping such patients deal with their medical issues is part of the delivery of health care. You will find that you can prescribe the correct medication, but if the patient can't afford to pay for it, they cannot benefit from your help. You may find that you recommend a patient go to a specialist, but they can't get to the appointment. You may find some of your patients who can't afford food or a home. Arriving at the right diagnosis, ordering the correct lab tests, instituting the perfect treatment is absolutely essential. But learning the human dimension of medicine will take a lifetime of work. So yes, it's a very demanding profession. But with those demands is tremendous reward. What is worth doing that doesn't push us to constantly learn, explore, and grow? Now, this class and I are sharing an experience today. For both of us, it is our last semester at Springfield College PA program. I'm retiring after a career in medicine, the last 15 years of it spent teaching at Springfield College. It has been an honor to work with an incredible group of colleagues and students like you, energetic, bright, enthusiastic. Now, I can't let this day go by without mentioning that the video you made for me was so thoughtful, unique, and touching. I will treasure it. I've already rewatched it more times than I care to admit, and I will continue to watch it many more times. It makes me smile. Thank you so much for the gift that will last a lifetime. So I'm going to end with these words. You've all worked incredibly hard. You have achieved your goals. You are ready to begin your journey. Congratulations to all of you. You are the future of medicine.
Thank you, Dr. Sieve. Now, Professor Roxanne Sprague will present the Phi Alpha Honor Society inductees.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's my distinct pleasure to be inducting 3 of our graduates into the Pi Alpha National Honor Society for Physician Assistants today. The Pi Alpha Society was organized in 2004 for the promotion and recognition of significant academic achievement, leadership, research, community and professional service, and the encouragement of a high standard of character and conduct among physician assistant students and graduates. The organization is committed to lifelong learning and participation in intellectual life. Today's inductees have shown all of the qualities that are necessary for membership and so much more. Not only have they maintained academic excellence during their time here at Springfield College, but they've been proven leaders both in the classroom and in the community. They each truly represent the motto of Pi Alpha: scholarship, service, and leadership. I'd like to congratulate Springfield College's chapter of Pi Alpha Society's newest members, and I'll call them one at a time if they want to come up and receive their award. Emily Drake. Haley Parsons. No pressure, nobody's looking. Congratulations. Thank you. And Jessica Scow. Congratulations.
Okay, so all students of medicine wear a short white coat, which designates student status in the healthcare field. These students have now earned their long white coats, indicating healthcare provider status. These coats are a gift from the PA faculty. Wear the coats proudly. If you would all stand together, and you can all don your white coats together as a class. The graduates will receive a Springfield College PA pin to wear on that white coat. The pin lets every patient know that they are receiving excellent care from a highly trained provider. We will now take a few minutes for each student to be recognized and receive their Springfield College PA Program Certificate of Completion, which allows them to sit for the national boards. Dr. Coughlin, if you will please read the names.
Can we have the graduates join us on the side over here? Thank you. Brent Braskins. Hannah Boylan. Matthew Briscoe. Christopher Brodier. Matthew Connors. Samantha Cox. Travis Cramp. Marcin Check. Emily Drake. Emily Eder. Lucia Farraco. Sharon Hong. Gavin Jepson. Alec Capino. What? And Miss Jepson? Oops.
Oh, he's out of order.
Congratulations.
He's just out of order.
Oh. I don't know the alphabet.
Oliver Johnson.
Congratulations, Val.
So sorry. Katrina Laz.
Congratulations, guys.
Noah Laseski. Carolyn Lurs. Kenneth Ray McCarthy. Ashley Pacheco. Haley Parsons. Mackenzie Pelletier. Colin Robinson. Bailey Roy. Jessica Scow. How about one more great big round for all of our graduates? Woo!
Every year, the graduating class nominates and selects the recipients of the Outstanding Lecturer, Outstanding Preceptor, and Outstanding Clinical Site Award. Due to some conflicting schedules, they were not all able to be here. This year's Outstanding Lecturer Award goes to Dr. Poindexter for his contributions to the renal medicine block in clinical medicine. Dr. Poindexter is a board certified in nephrology and internal medicine and practices at Kidney Care and Transplant Services of New England. Appropriate, thank you, yes. The Outstanding Clinical Site Award goes to Mercy Medical Center for Emergency Medicine. This site dedicatedly takes our students every rotation and is committed to the education of PAs. While rotating in the Mercy ED, students often run into many of our alumni there. We have a nice relationship. Great. I now invite Ashley Pacheco to the stage to introduce this year's Outstanding Preceptor.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Pacheco, and I would first just like to thank you all for being here today to help congratulate the Springfield College Physician Assistant Class of 2021. Every year, the graduating physician assistants have the honor of voting for the Preceptor of the Year. This award is for a clinical preceptor who emulates values of a provider that we as graduating PAs strive to achieve in our own clinical practice. I have the absolute honor of presenting this year's award to Springfield College's very own Seth Collins. I was lucky enough to not only work with Seth during our didactic year in anatomy and physiology, along with the rest of my classmates, but also during my elective rotation in interventional radiology. Seth has a natural passion for medicine that is evident to those all around him. He is extremely knowledgeable in his field and in medicine as a whole. Throughout my rotation with Seth, his focus was always on what was most important for a new provider to understand, no matter what the clinical setting was. His calm and patient nature allowed me to ask questions, and he always took the time to teach me as much as he could in our 4 weeks together. He has gained the respect and trust from his colleagues and his students due to his ability to work collaboratively with other providers as well as his patients. He has a natural way with his patients, always showing them compassion and taking the time to explain the procedure thoroughly in a way that they could comprehend. Working in interventional radiology, patients undergo various procedures that can be extremely scary to them. I respected Seth's way to empathize with the patients, and he always made sure to make them feel comfortable. Whether it was by making them laugh, singing with them, or simply talking to them about their lives, his bedside manner is something we should all strive to achieve as providers. He always encouraged me to try new things and to be confident in myself as a provider. He increased my overall knowledge in medicine, various medical procedures, and the interpretation of radiological images. He was always methodical in his approaches to his patients, and he has an innate ability to recognize situations in which a second opinion was needed. All of these qualities are what makes Seth an exceptional physician assistant and preceptor. He is a role model for what all providers should strive to encompass every single time we walk into a patient's room. He is compassionate, trustworthy, well-respected, knowledgeable, and strives to be a better provider today than he was yesterday. These values are what I strive for as a provider, and I know my classmates would also agree. So it is with great honor that I present Springfield College's Preceptor of the Year Award to Seth Collins.
Thank you, Ashley, and congratulations, Seth. Now, graduates. The career path you have chosen is not merely a job, but rather a calling and a commitment to serving others. By donning the white coat, you send a powerful message that you are willing and ready to dedicate your time, your efforts, and your knowledge to serving others. What we have taught you will likely no longer be valid in 20 years. You must learn, be open to new knowledge, and share that knowledge with others. Some days are going to be good, and other days will be hard. Make sure to take time for yourself, do the things that make you smile, and love what you do. Today is a celebration of you. You may have dreamed of this day. Maybe when you were a child and tried to do surgery on your dolls, or attempted to nurse a wild animal back to health. I remember distinctly when I was young being fascinated watching my sister's laceration be stitched up in the emergency room. It was then that I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. Director of the Springfield College PA program. I'm kidding. In medicine, of course. It's funny how life takes you in weird directions. I'm sure many of you have had similar experiences, those. That key moment when you knew you wanted to help and care for others. I hope that today you remember and celebrate your achievement of this dream. Well, we have come to the end of our ceremony. Thanks to everyone for participating. Graduates, please stay in touch, come back to visit, and in a year, consider precepting or lecturing. I welcome you all to join me in congratulating the class of 2021. Graduates, you may now proceed out and we'll gather by the flowers for a lovely group photo.